Vincent. Vincent. Wih,
Hah?
di Pilaku Arsa rame nggak?
Pilaku sepi coy. Kalau Arsya masih lumayan ramai.
Masih rame ya?
Lumayan. Tergantung
Main
jam sih.
spotnya, main spot.
Main spotnya yang mana? Yang depan Oda apa yang dua lingkaran?
Yang lingkaran.
Yang cuma satu lingkaran sih lumayan. Yang di dua lingkaran agak jarang.
Yeah, I don't wanna fall asleep, I don't wanna pass away. I've been thinking of our future cause I'll never see those days. I don't know why this has happened, but I probably deserve it. I tried to do my best, but you know that I'm not perfect. I've been praying for forgiveness, you've been praying for my health. When I leave this earth, hoping you'll find someone else. Cause yeah, we still young, there's so much we haven't done. Getting married, start a family, watch your husband with his son.
Gue lupa ngerjain Fugar. Mau gulis.
Dingin.
Make a cup of coffee by your hand. Out of bed. Go to bed. Make a cup of coffee. I'll make a cup of coffee for your head. Out of bed. Don't stay away for too long. Don't go to bed. I'll make a cup of coffee for your head. For too long, don't go to bed. Make a cup of coffee.
I don't wanna fall asleep, I don't
Bisa
wanna
nyata
pass away.
mengerikan
I've
dari
been
internet
thinking of our future cause I'll never see those days. I don't know why this has happened, but I probably deserve it. I tried to do my best, but you know that I'm not perfect. I've been praying for forgiveness, you've been praying for my health. When I leave this earth, hoping you'll find someone else. Cause yeah, we still young, there's so much we haven't done. Getting married, start a family, watch your husband with his son. I wish it could be me, but I won't make it off this bed. I hope I go to heaven so I see you once again. My life was kinda short, but I got so many blessings. Happy you were mine, it sucks that it's all ending.
Gino mo.
I'll make a cup of coffee for your head.
Apaan tuh Forest Ronaldo's Guardian? Itu dapat dari mana?
Hah? Black Spirit loh.
Oh,
Tuh selesai quest. main
Forest
quest
Ronaldo's
kamar.
Guardian itu Ronin ya?
Iya iya.
Ya.
Dropnya apaan? Memfrag.
Biasa.
Biasa ya.
Hunter kill, hunter kill.
Oh.
Antar kecil. Gua butuh kalau dapet sih.
Jackpotnya ya Ronara sama Forest Fury.
Mau ikut nggak?
Skip.
Nanti kan? Hah? Kita nanti. Ikut nggak sih?
Lagi di ujung dunia.
Kenapa? Bukain map.
Dilaku.
Dilaku the best man. Sayangnya besok kayak gue cuma buka dikit. Seminggu ini kayak gue di pilaku cuma sehari doang.
Sehari doang ya?
Iya.
Ya fokus sama energi dulu lah.
Nah, gue kefokusan sama Ronaros saya sampai nggak dapet nih. Kesel sendiri, gue mau live skilling aja dah.
Ya, nothing easy man. Nothing easy.
Di feed mau gulis nih scroll dari mana?
Main quest media.
Ah,
Quest
Black
me.
Spirit. Black Spirit ntar dapat.
Iya, tapi di Black Speed yang nggak ngasih gue.
Ada empat pilihannya. Pertama Black, Giat, Red Nose, sama Mogulis. Gua itu.
Oh, nggak dapat scroll. Di recurring kan?
Oh, Rekurik. Black Spirit.
Iya, di paling kanan kan?
Iya.
Gue nggak ada ya. Summon scroll. Ah, pakai loyalty lah.
Mau nggak mau ya.
Ambil back belum hari ini?
Kenapa?
Lu udah ambil back belum hari ini?
Ambil apa?
Hari ini lu ada ambil boss strong nggak dari Black Spirit?
Kayaknya belum deh.
Gua ambil Red Nose.
Kalau belum, main quest lu udah siap belum? Kalau udah siap nggak mungkin nggak ada.
Ya kapan nih Jakli jadi kita? Udah lama ya?
Apa?
Jakli. Iya Pe.
Beli itu
Oh, gue kira dikasih Black Speed secara gratis. Katanya ada
What?
questnya lagi.
Nanya
Itu
doang,
anggota
nanya
lama.
doang.
Oh.
Ngambil doang itu.
Eh.
Jackly termasuk anggota lama, tapi dari Garuda.
Oh, anak udah jadi officer ya. main pada WH loh. Galau juga belum.
Valencia balik lagi ke Kama. Gue malas ngerjain nodenya Valencia.
Lu grinding sehari 18 jam bisa, lu kerjaan gituan gak bisa ngentot.
Hah? Bukannya nggak
Lu
bisa.
grinding sehari 18 jam bisa, tapi buat gituan gak bisa.
Malasnya itu loh. Nah, soalnya Valencia apa ya, knowledge-nya itu loh. Ada di gurun lah, di gunung-gunung. Yang di lautan yang dekat Gahas tuh udah gue explore. Anjing. Berenang lagi pakai dadum-dadum.
Beli aja per ya 500 juta, susah banget.
Susah bro, silver gua habis.
Iya, elang ya.
Silver gua sih 100 juta. Paling besok cuma buka 20 gua pilave.
Aduh, ini quest Spirit ini bahasa Inggrisnya apa sih?
Ini main spot satu yang di bawah liga itu taruh kuda di mana sih? Selain di LPC?
Kenapa?
Ntar ya aku lihat.
Live. Kicau. Itu spot yang depan node bukan?
Kan spot di taruh kuda. Itu di mana taruh kudanya kalau di
Ngelek. Ngelek banget sih. Patah ya.
Belum punya aku ya.
Itu masuk dari node kan? Iya, taruh
Iya.
kuda di situ kalau spotnya di situ.
Oh ini di situ ya?
Ya di tebing situ. Tapi kalau bisa ke kirian dikit, takutnya ntar monster dari atas jatuh. Gue pernah soal monster dari atas jatuh, kuda gue mati. Gue kurang suka itu spot, gue ngebersihinnya terlalu cepet. Kalau mau spot yang lebih gede, dari node ke kanan atas.
Ya masuk dari pintu yang satunya lagi.
Bukan, tetap masuk dari node. Bisa sih dari pintu yang satu lagi, cuman jalannya lebih jauh.
Lebih banyak momennya.
Banyak momennya, itu tinggal muter-muter doang. Gerakannya kayak angka 8 gitu. Gila, gua sampai hafal. Kira udah kayak rumah sendiri.
Yang aku hafal cuma sulfur. Soalnya lebih lama di sana waktu itu.
Oh.
Dulu pernah dapat, tapi dari main tool sini.
Oh.
Di sulfur yang mati-mati nanti.
Aduh, gak mau gua sulfur lagi. Gua kemarin ke sulfur sekali. Aduh, lootnya sampah banget. Dapat batunya banyak.
Iya,
Cuman scrollnya itu loh nggak drop loh, hampir nggak drop. Drop kayak 1 jam gua cuma dapat 2 atau 3. Dibanding pilaku gua 1 jam bisa sampai 15 sampai 20. tanpa LS.
Itu memang spot parah sih itu.
Udah kompasnya cuma drop dari yang gede lagi, Devourer sama Tukar.
Kompas apa? Yang kompas itu?
Kok map.
Devourer gampang. Yang tukarnya lah.
Yang tukarnya spotnya di depan lebih banyak apa di dalam?
Jangan di dalam gunung, jangan di depan.
Depan gunung.
Iya, bukan di dalam gurunnya.
Kalau yang di dalam tuh yang kecilnya Devourer.
Ya, kalau di dalam yang Devourer yang banyak. Biasanya ya kalau aku dulu aku main spot dalam dulu, yang dalam gua. Nah, kalau udah dapat Devourer baru aku keluar.
Itu nggak lo kerjain nih?
Apa?
Bisa itu.
Apaan?
Geki.
Apa Keki?
Ya, geki laut.
Ya,
Ada
ambil
tiga.
aja dulu.
Ya. Galau soalnya nggak om.
Lagi apa processing?
Belum.
Aku ingat banget dulu di sulfur habis 130 LS baru dapat semua.
130 LS.
Iya.
Wow.
Pakai Musa itu dulu.
Anjay, 130. Nggak tahu lah. Gue kalau ada
Lu
mood
tahu
aja
nggak
gua kerjain.
lava Devourer aku dapat berapa mannya? 15. Dapat semua.
Anjing. Berarti yang susah yang tukarnya.
Tukarnya paling susah.
Kalau pila aku yang di porti yang susah.
Kalau pil aku dulu aku langsung dapat. Nggak dapat double. Langsung dapat dua-duanya.
Yang pakai baju putih itu yang susah. Soalnya itu yang di ruangan yang kanan, bukan yang di node.
Termasuk hoki-hokian sih. Dulu aku gampang kok. Malah di sana yang susah. 15 double lagi.
Anjir 15.
Soalnya terlalu gampang tuh lava Devourer dropnya.
Oh.
Soalnya banyak banget tuh lava Devourer di sana, di spot
Iya,
dalam gua.
benar. Di 31, 9 hari lagi.
Ini Infinite Pot belum coba sih. Rame banget waktu itu aku grinding di blok gua. Males aku.
Emang Bloodwolf rame, selalu. Gara-gara itu doang. Gue udah gak mau ke Bloodwolf. Teman gue ya ngomong ke gue, dia udah 2 juta trash loot, nggak drop. Dia sampai fotoin gue. gue langsung, mental gue langsung jatuh.
Hoki-hoki ya. Nggak bisa
Iya.
dibilang gitu. Kalau di pilaku atau sulfur kan enak, nggak ada yang ganggu.
Iya,
Itu aja udah males carinya, pagi di sana.
betul. Gue mau coba Infinite Pot yang gathering sih.
Oh, itu susah banget loh, gila.
Katanya paling gampang. Gak tahu sih RNG juga sih ya.
Ngapain pakai yang MT? Cari yang HP, ngapain MT?
Iseng aja.
Cari HP dulu dong.
Gak tahu deh.
Kalau lu yang sehari main sampai 18 jam mah bisa. Mana nggak bisa?
Enak bro, sakit hati kayak Ronaros kemarin. masih dalam masa pemulihan.
Aku yang grinding 3 jam aja udah ngantuk gitu.
Iya.
Lebih bagus sih lu naikin dulu energi lu sampai 400.
Oh.
Sakit mataku ya energi lu 200-an gitu.
Kenapa?
Sakit mataku lihat energi lu yang 200.
Jangan gitu bro. Aduh. Ya udahlah. Nah energi joki aja ntar.
Duh, kok energi gampang banget caranya.
Lu telusurin map aja.
Energi gampang kecuali ekologi yang agak ribet.
Ekologi harus es kan?
Nggak harus yang penting kebuka aja.
Oh itu buat drop rate.
Tapi kalau bisa es lebih bagus. Full buff dong apanya? Tarinya. Aku dulu main Wardera bisa 530, masa lu nggak bisa?
Tahu lah, ntar aja dah. Gue lagi ngamut. Jenuh dari tadi siang. Cuman keliling kota, ngomong sama NPC, nyari node.
Dalam seminggu gini aja, dalam seminggu lu kasih waktu sehari macam minggu lu fokusin cari energi, sisa harinya lu grinding. Lu grinding semua mah bosan lah jadi.
I'm happy that you're here with me. I'm sorry if I tear up. When me and you were younger, you would always make me cheer up. Taking goofy videos and walking through the park, you would jump into my arms every time you heard a bark. Cuddle in your sheets, sang me sound asleep, and sneak out through your kitchen at exactly 1 or 3. Sundays went to church, and Mondays watched a movie. Soon you'll be alone, sorry that you have to lose me. I'll make a cup of coffee. I'll put you on pillow.
Watching you stand alone, all of my doubt suddenly goes away somehow. One step closer. I have died every day waiting for you, darling. Don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I'll love you for 1,000 more. Time stands still, beauty in all she is. I will be brave. I will not let anything take away what's standing in front of me. Every breath, every hour has come to this. One step closer. I have died every day waiting for you, darling. Don't be afraid.
Parfum of sweetness aja habis.
Parfum.
Ya buat gathering.
Jangan pakai parfum, pakai draw aja.
Oh, kenapa emang?
Lebih worth. Gila 10 star itu 15 menit mending pakai draw.
Drought sama seafood ya berarti.
Iya, draw sama seafood.
One step closer. I have died every day waiting for you, darling. Don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years.
Lu tinggal mana, Rek? Kok murah banget itu tempatnya?
Malang, Batu Malang.
And all along I believed I would find you. Time has brought your heart to me. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I'll love you for 1,000.
kasih tahu tuh, Sen.
Hmm?
Kasih tahu. Tuh
Apaan?
dia ada yang mau ngelit skill AV.
Where you only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Know you've only been high when you're feeling low. Only hate a road when you're missing home. Only know you love her when you let her go. And you let her go.
Gathering apa? Kayu atau batu atau apa?
Verina nyari pinit.
Staring at the bottom of your glass, hoping one day you'll make a dream last. But dreams come slow and they go so fast.
Pakai logi atau pakai manos?
Ke Manos.
Manos,
See you when you
Manos pecah.
close your eyes, but maybe one
Orang
day
kaya.
you'll understand why.
Bikin
That everything you
masih
touch,
pas 8,
it
ntar
surely
getok lagi.
dies. Where you only need the light when it's burning low, and only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Know you've only been high when you're feeling low, and only hate the road when you're missing home. And only know you love her when you let her go. Staring at the ceiling in the dark, the same old empty feeling in your heart. But love comes slow and it goes so fast. You see it when you fall asleep, never to touch and never to keep, 'cause you loved her too much and you dive too deep. Where you only need the light when it's burning low, and only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Know you only been high when you're feeling low. It's only at a road when you're missing home. And only know you love her when you let her go. And you let her go. Oh, 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 oh. And you let her go. Oh, oh, oh. And you let her go. Oh, oh. And you let her go. Where you only need the light when it's burning low, and only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Know you've only been high when you're feeling low, and only at a road when you're missing home. And only know you love her when you let her go. Where you only need the light when it's burning low, only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let it go. Know you've only been high when you're feeling low, only hit a road when you're missing home. Only know you love her when you let it go. And you let her go. Saw you walk inside a bar. You said something to make you laugh. Saw that both your smiles were twice as wide as ours. You look happy. Ain't nobody hurt you like I hurt you. Ain't nobody love you like I do. Promise that I will not take it personal, baby. If you're moving on with someone new, baby, you look happier. You do. My friends told me one day I'll feel it too. Until then, I smile and hide the truth. I know I was happier with you. Hey, yeah, hey, yeah.
Halo Kevin, udah kelar warnya.
Udah.
Menang kalah?
Menang siapa?
Menang Unity ya.
Oke, mantap.
Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
Salam. Nggak jawab PKI.
Hah? Salam. Anjir PKI dong.
Kok? 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 Mati dia. Tolong.
Dapat hijau nggak, Pin?
Enggak.
Dapat hijau.
Enggak, top kill di sini aja cuman berapa anjir? Yang satunya 74. Gimana Bang Nir? Gua tadi di tengah-tengah nge-lag anjing. Tadi yang pas di di caster itu gua kemana nih anjir? Nyasar sendirian gua anjir.
Sama yang mau ke outer itu kan loh.
Kan ditutup tuh. Lah, kemana nih gua nih?
Blackstone goblok.
Kira Black Star anjing. Kepala gue udah gak mudeng.
kalau bisa ditukar jadi Blackster ya udah banyak yang dapat itu Blackster.
Si Hehe ke berapa?
Mana Pin?
Udah,
Minus
Ah.
2 sih. Pin.
Anjing.
Acat kalah sama gua. Gua plus 2. Canon doang mau kill tuh.
Tadi di mana ya? Di Fort Doom apa ini? Fort Unity kalau nggak salah. Ketembak cannon gue jatuh anjing. Gimana Sin? Lu belum ada di sini.
Nah, gua keluarin skill gua lah. Serius gua tadi nih.
Bikin puasa ya.
Jadi berhasil sih nulisnya.
Nulisnya.
Gak ada bacot lagi dia Sin.
Apa ada? Tahu dia.
Detil 12.
Chat war dong. Kok sepi chat war
Itu.
gitu?
Oh.
Kita lagi PM-PM sama si Jeremy.
Kenapa? Peman masalah apa? Masalah kemarin.
Enggak nanyain tuh kenapa tuh gitu. Gua bilang kena
Oh.
pas Melo hehe ngebacot.
Back.
当初怎么开始飞翔？孤单是一个人的狂欢，狂欢是一群人的孤单。
Gue sarkasin Sin.
爱情原来的开始是陪伴，但我也渐渐的遗忘，都是实在
Langsung tadi dia langsung keluar ya?
Gak tahu dia emang tadi join Discord. Gue nggak lihat lah.
Discord tadi.
Yang gue lihat Hehe 15 itu yang anak Garuda. Ya haheho.
Oh beda orang.
Beda.
Kevin killnya kalau sama gua.
Anjing.
Gue puas bacotin. Guys, bertiga.
Tadi yang lu minta heal itu Sin, gua apa settingan nama gue sama partnya gua offin semua, kagak lihat siapa-siapa. Itu pun masih nge-lag gua anjing.
Gue tadi nggak full screen lagi lupa. Ngepres gue dari tadi. Tapi gue paksain aja. Yang penting skill anjay. Wah puas. Habis itu gue switch spin. Awal gue pakai kutum, terus gue switch langsung pakai nover. Enak aja killnya sumpah.
Gua pakai Nover malah gak enak, nanggung apa sisa terus darah orang. Selalu di LH sama orang anjir. Woi, lu hit apa aja tuh dan tali RC.
Tadi si Dakot sama Inti Mendatate mati mulu anjing. Tapi sumpah itu tuh orang GG lo. Lo kalau ikut ke sana GG lo. Ininya dia.
Apa?
Flankernya.
Si Intimidate kan sama
Enggak,
Dakot.
si Dakot sama Intimidate dia berdua duet.
Padahal si Intimidate itu demonical kan, dia sebelumnya main witch loh. Ya pokoknya kal gitu lah main witch dia. Sindir terus.
Masalah dia duluan mulai ya, gua mah ketawa lah gua diem aja. Salah sendiri dia mulai duluan ngebaca.
Hehehe. Ada.
Orang gua terus serang tuh. Gimana warnya?
Lawan MK goy.
Oke.
Merasa gue cat sendiri anjir. Gue kebanyakan tadi pakai kalk, bukan ini parfum.
Emang kekak boy, emang kekak. Soalnya warga gitu lo pasti ngadu DPS, nggak mungkin ngadu badan, nggak mungkin ngadu sopan bro.
Berantem.
Tontonin banyak nih gitu. Lama ya.
Bilang ke warung guys 63 bangsat.
Emang udah jelek, emang mau apa? Emang udah toksik, emang mau ngapain? Gitu sih, daripada munafik gitu.
Gue pengen chat bukan akun gue.
Mana ya Jeremy ya?
是宁愿回到爱情那个枷锁。爱只有简单笔画，却比想象复杂，和安定爱变化。我爱过几个人，也被爱过几遍，却还是没能将幸福留下。爱是不可数的吗？为何我还相信它不是独行侠？我在等一个人，在等我的永恒，告诉我爱不担心，别害怕。爱只有简单笔画，却比想象复杂，和安定爱变化。我爱过几个人，也被爱过几遍，却还是没能将幸福留下。爱是不可数的吗？为何我还相信它不是独行侠？我在等一个人，在等我的永恒，告诉我爱不担心，别害怕。我在等一个人，在等我的永恒，告诉我爱不担心，相信他。 Yeah, I don't wanna fall asleep, I don't wanna pass away. I've been thinking of our future cause I'll never see those days. I don't know why this has happened, but I probably deserve it. I tried to do my best, but you know that I'm not perfect. I've been praying for forgiveness, you've been praying for my health. When I leave this earth, hoping you'll find someone else. Cause yeah, we still young, there's so much we haven't done. Getting married, start a family, watch your husband with his son. I wish it could be me, but I won't make it off this bed. I hope I go to heaven, so I see you once again. My life was kinda short, but I got so many blessings. Happy you were mine, it sucks that it's all ending. For too long, don't go to bed. I'll make a cup of coffee for your head. I'll get you up and going out of bed. Yeah, hey. Don't stay awake for too long. Don't go to bed. I'll make a cup of coffee for your head. I'll get you up and going out of bed. Yeah. I'm happy that you're here with me. I'm sorry if I tear up. When me and you were younger, you would always make me cheer up. Taking goofy videos and walking through the park. You would jump into my arms every time you heard a bark. Cuddle in your sheets, sing me sound asleep, and sneak out through your kitchen at exactly 1:03. Sundays went to church, and Mondays watched a movie. Soon you'll be alone, sorry that you have to lose me. Too long, don't go to bed. I'll make a cup of coffee for your head. I'll get you up and down out of bed. Stay awake for too long, don't go to bed. I'll make a cup of coffee for your head. I'll get you up and down out of bed. Don't stay awake for too long, don't go to bed. I'll make a cup of coffee for your head. I'll get you up and down out of bed. Stay awake for too long, don't go to bed. I'll make a cup of coffee for your head. I'll get you up and going out of bed. And don't stay awake for too long, don't go to bed. I'll make a cup of coffee for your Don't stay awake for too long, don't go to bed. I'll make a cup of coffee for your head. I'll get you up and going out of bed. Yeah, I don't wanna fall asleep, I don't wanna pass away. I've been thinking of our future cause I'll never see those days. I don't know why this has happened, but I probably deserve it. I tried to do my best, but you know that I'm not perfect. I've been praying for forgiveness, you've been praying for my health. When I leave this earth, hoping you'll find someone else. Cause yeah, we still young, there's so much we haven't done. Getting married, start a family, watch your husband with his son. I wish it could be me, but I won't make it off this bed. I hope I go to heaven, so I see you once again. My life was kinda short, but I got so many blessings. Happy you were mine, it sucks that it's all ending. For too long, don't go to bed. I'll make a cup of coffee for your head. I'll get you up and down out of bed. Yeah, hey. Don't stay awake for too long, don't go to bed. I'll make a cup of coffee for your head. I'll get you up and down out of bed. Yeah. I'm happy that you're here with me. I'm sorry if I tear up. When me and you were younger, you would always make me cheer up. Taking goofy videos and walking through the park. You would jump into my arms every time you heard a bark. Cuddle in your sheets, sang me sound asleep, and sneak out through your kitchen at exactly 1:03. Sundays went to church, and Mondays watched a movie. Soon you'll be alone, sorry that you have to lose me. Too long, don't go to bed. I'll make a cup of coffee for your head. I'll get you up and down out of bed. Don't stay awake for too long, don't go to bed. I'll make a cup of coffee for your head. I'll get you up and going out of bed. Don't stay awake for too long, Yeah, I don't wanna fall asleep, I don't wanna pass away. I've been thinking of our future cause I'll never see those days. I don't know why this has happened, but I probably deserve it. I tried to do my best, but you know that I'm not perfect. I've been praying for forgiveness, you've been praying for my health. When I leave this earth, hoping we'll find someone else. Cause yeah, we still young, there's so much we haven't done. Getting married, start a family, watch your husband with his son. I wish it could be me, but I won't make it off this bed. I hope I go to heaven, so I see you once again. My life was kinda short, but I got so many blessings. Happy you were mine, it sucks that it's all ending. For too long, don't go to bed. I'll make a cup of coffee for your head.
I'll get you up and going out of bed.
Yeah, hey.
Stay awake for too long, don't go to bed. I'll make a cup of coffee for your head. I'll get you up and going
Hey.
out of bed.
Yeah. I'm happy that you're here with me. I'm sorry if I tear up. When me and you were younger, you would always make me cheer up. Taking goofy videos and walking through the park. You would jump into my arms every time you heard a bark. Cuddle in your sheets, sang me sound asleep, and sneak out through your kitchen at exactly 1:03. Sundays went to church, and Mondays watched a movie. Soon you'll be alone, sorry that you have to lose me. Too long, don't go to bed. I'll make a cup of coffee for your head. I'll get you up and down out of bed.
Stay awake for too long, don't go to bed. I'll make a cup of coffee for your head. I'll get you up and going out of bed.
Don't stay awake for too long.
Joe Rowling asked me to read this here today. Having seen Dan Radcliffe's screen test, I don't think Chris Columbus could have found a better Harry. I wish Dan, Emma, and Rupert the very best of luck, and hope that they have as much fun acting the first year at Hogwarts as I had writing it.
I think I'm a tiny bit like Harry, because I'd like to have an owl.
Staring out at a room full of reporters on his very first day as Harry Potter, blinking at the popping flashbulbs and gamely fending off reporters' questions, there was no doubt about it. Daniel Radcliffe was in for the ride of his life. For 10 years, Daniel has lived the fantasy on the cloistered sets at Leavesden Studios and facing the frenzied excitement of fans from around the world. It's been a strange and wondrous and sometimes even unsettling journey. And the one person who can really identify with Daniel's incredible journey is J.K. Rowling herself, because she's lived it too. In 1990, she began writing her 7-book Harry Potter series with little expectation, and then watched it grow into a phenomenon unprecedented in the world of literature. And now, for the first time on camera, J.K. Rowling and Daniel Radcliffe will share their experiences over a decade of Harry Potter.
How are you?
Not bad at all. Did I just tread on you?
No, not at all. Please have a seat. Excellent. So, this is exciting.
Yes, it is
This is
exciting.
a chance to ask each other.
All the things we've asked each other off camera, but now do it in front of the
But
camera.
now do it in front of the
Exactly,
camera,
yeah.
absolutely, and I'm going to try and be much more profound and insightful than I ever have been
Go
off
for it.
camera.
I'm looking forward to this.
So I was, this is my chance where I realised that doing the interviewing is actually not an easy thing to do at all.
That's okay. We can swap. I can interview you.
Yeah, that would be brilliant. Okay, so I thought to begin at the beginning, how involved were you in the casting process, and how much do I have to thank you for? But do you remember working with Chris? Or?
Yeah, I was involved, not to the extent that I was sitting in on auditions, but they were keeping me really fully informed. As you know, we found Rupert and Emma, and they were perfect, and that was a done deal, and we still couldn't find you. Will you say how you were found? Well, it was just it was amazing, really.
It was a bizarre kind of moment. Originally, what had happened was that David Heyman, the producer, knew my dad because my dad had been a literary agent, and my dad had worked with David's mum. And so David sort of asked my dad if I would audition, and the original deal was that we'd heard was going to be to do 6 films, and it was going to be done in America, and it was all sort of,
It was going to be done in America. No one ever told me that.
Well, obviously maybe that's why it changed, because you probably put your foot down at some point, or they just went, Joe won't agree to that.
They know me quite well.
Which was good, to be honest. That would not have been good. But I'm not somebody who particularly believes in fate and destiny and all those things, but my parents do. And so the final straw was the fact that I went to the theatre to see a production of Stones in His Pockets, and David Heyman and Steve Clovis, who adapted all but one of the books, happened to be sitting in the row in front.
You
and
believe it?
and I was sat there for the whole time thinking, why is that man keep
Staring
looking
at
round
me. This is very creepy.
It was very creepy.
I need to phone someone.
It was very odd, and I remember at the interval, my mum and my dad both looking kind of quite intense about something. But you know, when as a kid you're aware that you're being purposely kept out of the loop, for your own good kind of thing. And I remember we went up the stairs and out of the theatre, and then sort of hid behind a pillar. I seem to remember that it's some absurd notion that David Heyman and Steve Clovis were going to chase after us, grab us.
And make you be a child actor.
And then there was some debate as to whether we would go back in for the second half, but I was really enjoying the play. Yeah, and so we went back in, and then the next day my mum and dad sort of went, oh, well, maybe it is the gods sort of trying to tell us something,
But there were a lot of strange coincidences.
And
then they called me and said, "We think we found him." And then the first time I ever saw you was on screen in my sitting room at home. Because they sent me a video of you. And the curious thing is, and I'm like, I don't believe in fate and destiny.
Which is interesting because it comes up so much in
Yeah,
the book.
absolutely. I think you make your own.
Yeah.
But so I saw you on that audition tape, and it was, I don't think I've ever really told you that I found incredibly moving.
Oh, thank you so much.
And almost, I mean, it was incredibly moving. At that point, I didn't have a son.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So, and I phoned David up, and I said, he's great, he's fantastic. And I did say to David, it was like watching my son on screen. Because after all, Harry feels like this ghostly son that I've had in my life. But, you know, to be honest, you and Rupert and Emma are all too good looking, frankly. You are, you know, the characters were geeky, and you...
Did you know that was going to happen? Did you sort of think they might...
I'm not an idiot.
Yeah.
I did, particularly when do you know what, it was really lucky I spoke to Emma first on the phone before I met her, because I fell absolutely in love with her. She said to me, "I've only ever acted in school drama plays before, and God, oh my God, I'm so nervous, I can't believe I got the part." And then she spoke for like 60 seconds at least without drawing breath, and I just said, "Emma, you're perfect." And then when I met her, and she was this very beautiful, which she still is, of course, beautiful girl, I just kind of had to go, okay, it's film, you know, deal with it. I'm going to still see my gawky, geeky, ugly duckling Hermione in my mind, but...
Do you think that in a way we shot ourselves in the foot with things like that for then Emma's reveal in the fourth film, where she comes downstairs and there is supposed to have been this transformation?
Well, exactly.
Because we're all looking going, well, she was already a beautiful girl.
Yeah, big deal. Now she's a beautiful girl in a beautiful dress.
Yes.
And putting her in Fair Isle sweaters in the first film didn't make her ugly. Not that Hermione in the books is ever ugly, but it was quite a big deal for me that I had written, you know, a strong female character who was primarily about brain, and that she chose to become a little more groomed and glamorous as you know, us geeks do at a certain point in our lives. But I accepted it. Emma's a great actress, and I loved her as a person. And I felt there were so many connections between her and Hermione that did it matter that she was beautiful? Come on.
But it was interesting you mentioned about that audition, because I was given a copy of my audition where I was... and it turns out, because neither me, Rupert, and Emma could remember this, but it turns out we did all audition together once. There was a screen
I
test
didn't know that.
where they all tested us all at the same time. And I could hear Chris Columbus's voice off camera.
Hello, the German Harry. Time to leave. Be gone from the library, now. Cut, great work.
And I just remembered, God, he was brilliant. He was amazing with us. I don't think anybody else could have got the enthusiasm out of those...
He's just the nicest guy in the world, isn't he?
Nicest guy in the world.
And a real family man. I remember meeting him and being... I don't know where is not the right word, but obviously this is the person who's going to be taking my baby, and same way I felt when I met Steve Clovis, whom I absolutely adore as well. But, you know, first time you meet these people, and he was just such a nice guy, and the relief... both that my book would be in safe hands, but to be honestly, that you were all going to be in safe hands as well.
In England, it's different than in America. In America, they treat you first and foremost as a star and then as a child, whereas actually you should be treated as a kid first and then an actor second.
Do you think you had any idea that young of what you were really taking on?
Not really, because I wasn't even then fully aware of the scale of the phenomena at all. I mean, I'd had the first two read to me by my dad, who incidentally did a great basilisk voice.
Did he?
Yeah, fantastic back in the day. I did actually at one point.
I can actually imagine your dad doing that.
Yeah, my dad, I did actually suggest it to Chris Columbus, which my dad was completely mortified by. But no, I was, no, I don't think I could have ever had any, and even now, I don't actually think I have an understanding of how far it reaches, because it is a case of not being able to see the wood for the trees. You know, I'm so much in the middle of it that I actually can't see how far out it stretches.
I had exactly the same experience, although I think for a while I deliberately kept myself insulated from it. I didn't want to think about it. And when people would give me statistics, so many books sold or so many territories covered, and you just think, I just want it to be me and my desk. I don't... And you know, again, people will watch and think, oh, come on, you know, you can see the royalty checks coming in. I'm sure you noticed this.
Yes.
And yes, absolutely, I knew it was. But there was a scariness and a pressure, and sometimes a weirdness about, and you know this and I know this, when people are obsessional about something, on the outer fringes. You will have, you know, strange things going on that you maybe don't want to focus on too much when you just want to write your book.
As you say, it's you with your desk. I'd rather be in my aircraft hanging outside Leavesden with the rest of the crew.
I know, it's weird. So you couldn't have contemplated, because I can remember the first premiere, and you were shaking. Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
But it was. I don't think any of us knew what to expect, did we?
No, I don't think because on Potter it's a very insular world to film, so that you just basically, you know, you go into work every day. There's a big perimeter fence around the studios. We are the only film at Leavesden, so normally you'd have interaction between different crews and things. Because
it feels
if you're
very safe, doesn't it? I always felt that when I visited. It felt like
does feel
family.
very safe.
Everyone knew everyone else's names.
What was lovely for us was that, from my point of view, and I speak for I think most of the set, in terms of your involvement, you were around a lot at the beginning and early on, and very involved. And then as you kind of saw that we weren't going massively off script,
absolutely.
you
That's
kind of
completely
stepped
right.
back,
Completely right. Early on.
But was that hard or?
No, it was easy.
Okay.
And it was a relief.
Right.
I was around a lot earlier on. I wanted the Great Hall to look right. I wanted Diagon Alley to look right. You know, there were details that I saw so clearly in my mind. I knew I could help. I knew I genuinely could help, and I could help them make it right for the readers. And I felt a huge protectiveness, I suppose, and loyalty to the readership.
Yeah.
Once I knew you were up and running, and it was fine. It was a relief to say, right, there are the films, and I'm over here with the books, and that's fine. And I trust these people, and I did, and I do.
And that's wonderful.
And, you know, I think, and I have to say that it was inevitably you had to depart from the strict storyline of the books. The books are simply too long to make into very faithful films. And I can think of many places where it's worked just beautifully. And some things are just more filmic, and some things are more inherently novelistic. So I was always accepting of that. It didn't have to be a word-for-word transcription of my world, although some fans are that.
Yes,
Scary.
I mean, I do think
I'm not that scary.
that they kind of, no, you're not, which is wonderful. But I do sometimes think that, you know, if we did make a 6-hour Harry Potter film, there would be
an audience
there
for
would
it.
be an audience,
And
yeah.
they would still be complaining that there were things that were wrong,
Yeah.
and they would want the director's cut.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so let's not even go down that route.
So, is there anything?
Ngapain lu, Rang?
Gue lagi mau season karakter sama Yogi.
Oh. Gue lagi di Navar Steppe.
Resmet lu udah benar?
Udah. Mati di 2 jam anjing. Bingung gua ngapain. Wah, kayaknya gue processing sampai besok pagi juga nggak kelar ini. Habis profesional apa? Artisan ya?
Iya.
Profesional 10 berarti ya? Aduh.
Kok nggak ada?
Makarena mana? Poli. Ini pada weekly.
Iya, lagi mau weekly.
Oh. Weekly gue dipilih aku lagi. Di rumah.
By the way, gue mau masuk Ares.
Kapan?
Besok.
Widih.
Mau licin.
Emang Ares menang apa? Valencia?
Valen.
Anjing.
Makanya gue langsung
Nyari kompas nih langsung nih.
Enggaknya Akman lah minimal.
Oh, Akman. Capek nih dari siang gue buka-buka node, buka-buka map.
Gue mau kalau dia.
Hah, butuh energi pak. Gue ngeliat energi gue cuma 170 tuh kesel loh rasanya. Kembali berkhianat. Grinding lagi. Oh iya, agresku 6.000. Aduh. Si Riksnya jadi nggak main tuh.
Tahu dia lagi nggak jelas lagi kemarin nggak ngapain gitu.
Oh, nggak jelas.
Iya, belum ngapa-ngapain.
Talking about things, you know, being cut out and things. Is there anything that we've cut that you were a couple of things maybe that you were upset about that you thought could have been in, and is there anything that we put in that maybe weren't in the books that you thought, you know? Because I always remember I remember something about Alfonso and the Dementors.
No, I was fine. I remember exactly what it was with Alfonso.
Yeah.
There was well, first of all, on the Dementor point, I thought he did those beautifully, and I loved the fact that they really created that visceral dislike. I loved what he did with the Dementors.
Cool.
What it was there was something in the script that Alfonso really wanted to get music into the film,
right?
And he put the choir in, which I loved.
Yes,
but at one point, he had this rather bizarre scene where I think Flitwick was conducting, and there was this there were miniature people in an orchestra inside
Grana
something.
storage-nya mahal
And I
banget.
just, you see,
Kenapa?
Gue mau beli storage di Grana, butuh CP-nya banyak banget.
Iya, sama kayak Valencia deh, baik banget.
11 anjir.
Gue balik ke pilaku deh, gue butuh memfrag. Gue mau teriin Manos gue besok. Kapras. Don't stay away, you don't wanna go back. Failure. Supreme cooking utensil.
This is my geekiness. I said to him, but why? I know it's visually exciting, but part of what I think fans really enjoyed about the literary world was there was a logic that underpinned it. There was always a logic to the magic, however strange it became. And I know it's intriguing to go through the mouth of whatever it was and see these little people, but why have they done it? For you to film it, that's just what it feels like. You know, normally with the magic, there's a point. So we had a bit of a discussion.
Okay.
Sometimes I would dig my heels in on the funniest things. They, you know, I'd be saying, yeah, change the costume, that's no problem. Yeah, I don't mind if that happens in that city instead of that city. And then all of a sudden I'd say, but they wouldn't do that spell. Why would they do that there? So I think sometimes I confuse people. But I also remember right back into the beginning when we were cast. I remember David Heyman calling me up and saying, we've tried green contact lenses. We can digitally alter his eye colour post-production. How important is it that his eyes are green?
That I will, thank you for.
And I said, the only really important thing is that his eyes look like his mother's eyes. So if you're casting Lily, there needs to be a resemblance, but they don't absolutely have to be green. Oh, thank Christ, he said. Because, I know, were the contact lenses awful?
The contact lenses, there is a very small percentage of people apparently who have a very
extreme
reaction to contact lenses. And I was one of them.
I feel really bad.
No, don't worry. It's 10 years ago. It's really fine.
Are you over it?
Yeah, I'm over it now.
Sorry.
But there was, because also the other thing that we didn't think was a particularly good sign early on was that the green eyes went down so badly. But then after I came up in these terrible spots after about a week. Like really, and I, you know, then in my teen years did get bad acne, but I was 11 at the time.
You never looked like you had bad acne. Was that great makeup?
That was great makeup and some visual effects.
I've been walking around for years saying it's incredible none of them ever even got spots.
You're joking? No, no.
I promise you, I kept saying, how unlikely is that we managed to cast 3 kids who go through adolescence on screen, they always have perfect skin.
I think Rupert was the luckiest of the 3 of us. Rupert didn't have much. But me and Emma, well, particularly myself, got very, very spotty. But over that first 2 weeks, it was brilliant because we put the glasses on and eventually we realised that I was allergic to them. I was actually allergic to the Harry Potter glasses because I had these 2 rings of whiteheads and spots had come up around my eyes. And it took us about a week to realise that it was actually the glasses, but it didn't.
It's lucky neither of us believe in signs, isn't it?
Exactly, it really is lucky we don't believe in omens. But I also like that you sort of people selectively believe in omens, so that we probably just disregard that one
Yeah,
anyway.
exactly.
That
We
would be
won't look at that one.
coincidence.
You were meant to be.
Yeah. I remember my first day was quite scary because I looked on the call sheet and it just said me, Emma, Ruka and Robbie Coltrane, because actually we were shooting the last scene of the film
But you
first.
love Robbie though.
Yes, it's wonderful.
David Heyman said to me, if there's one actor that you really want for one of the parts, and I said Robbie for Hagrid, and I just kept saying it, and they talked about other people, and yeah, that was a bit of a deal breaker for me.
While we're on the topic of the other actors, Alan Rickman and my relationship with Alan since the 5th film has changed totally.
Has it?
And because on the 5th film I found him very, very intimidating.
He is scary.
And he is a scary
He's
guy.
just scary.
Before you sort of, and then I went and did Equus, and then we went out for dinner afterwards, and suddenly I found that Alan's actually hilarious.
He can be very, very funny.
Really funny and self-deprecating and kind of wonderful company, and who also was so supportive of me whenever I was going on stage. At one point, he cut short his holiday in I think in Canada to come back early and see the show so he could talk to me about
I
it.
didn't know about
Like
that.
he
That's
does,
lovely.
he's amazing. Like he does things like that, and. But how much did he know originally? Because there was always been this thing of Alan knew something.
Alan really makes me laugh. Right, it's absolutely true. I told him really early on that Snape had been in love with Lily. That's why he hated James. That's why he projected this amount of dislike onto Harry. So he knew that.
And at what point,
then I heard you told me
Yeah.
that he'd been saying in I don't know whether it was more than one scene, but you told me that he'd said, I just don't think Snape would do that.
Yeah.
Given what I know.
Yeah.
And I
do
thought,
remember
Alan, are you really milking this now? If your camera angle's not good enough. No, I really feel at this point Snape would be centre stage in The Good Life because of what I know. So then do you remember we were talking about, I said, well, let's just pretend I've told you loads of stuff. So anytime they try and make you, but you wouldn't go for it.
No, I didn't.
Very principled of you.
They were trying to get me the other day. They're all trying to get me to get a bit pissy about stuff because they wouldn't go home early. I've still not gone into the crew pressures yet.
It was funny about sort of telling things because people used to say to me all the time, have you told the actors? Have you told the actors what
And I
happens?
don't think we wanted to know.
And you didn't want to know, and I don't think anyone really believed that, but I think partly, I know that you started winding people up and saying that I had told you stuff, but that was on set.
Yeah.
I mean, among the cast, wasn't
Yeah.
it? And then you got more than you bargained for, because then you got a taste of what it's like to be me, didn't you?
Yes, then I got everyone coming up, and it was.
So you had to back
so
off
I really
from
had to
that
kind of admit that I
position.
actually know nothing all along. It was the one night you came and saw Equus was also
the
the
night
night
they
somebody threw an
threw the-
owl at a stage.
An owl onto stage, and
Stuff,
you said to me,
not real.
that's the only time that's happened. I said, well, I threw it.
Yes.
Nothing to do.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. And afterwards, I remember I turned around to you and said,
Do I die?
Go on.
I've got to ask.
"Go on, do I die?" And you very cryptically sort of paused for a moment.
Said
and
you
then
get a
said,
death scene.
You get a death scene, which was sort of.
And I saw you double take. You knew.
Yeah.
You said,
Yeah. At that point, I was kind of like, okay, I sort of vaguely have some idea what's going on.
And Neil, my husband, afterwards said, what did Dan ask you when he lent into you? I said, he asked if he's going to die. What did you tell him? I said, I'm not telling you.
So did Neil not even know? Really? But so because I remember hearing a story at one point about, you killing off a character and becoming very upset about it, and would you not be able to talk to him about that kind of stuff?
I think I told him in advance of Dumbledore. But he didn't know whether Harry was going to make it. No one knew.
Really? You really were living with that weight then?
It's funny because Matthew, I remember seeing Matthew at the premiere for...
He's brilliant, isn't he?
He's
completely. Yeah.
And there's another example. They cast what they think is this plain-looking kid, and he grows up to be this kind of rock god.
And also one of the coolest, most
He's the
hard-working guys on that
nicest
set.
guy.
Yeah.
I met him at the premiere for Half-Blood Prince, and I said, there's some great stuff for Neville in, and he went, I don't want to know! All right, sorry, just trying to liven up the conversation. There you are.
But you can normally rely on me and Matt for understatement.
He was pretty forceful.
In the books, obviously, it's how much were your school days kind of influential on the kind of not obviously in the magic, but in the
No,
boarding
not
school,
at
but
all. I
also
went
in-
to a comprehensive.
All right,
so
okay.
it was.
Cool. So all these kids you've inspired to go off to boarding schools.
Yeah, God, which was the very last thing I wanted to do. I certainly wasn't pro boarding school. It's simply logistics. There's a logic underpinning the world, and if you are a part of society who's living in secret, and you want to gather together a large number of your children and teach them potentially dangerous and explosive things that could expose the whole society, you are going to do that in an isolated place, and you probably are going to have them board there. Yeah. It was just logistics. Yeah. But of course, there is an appeal to young people, and there was to me the idea of just being together with young people and being divested of your parents. Yeah. I think that's quite appealing. Yeah. It's much more interesting to write about if you're talking about kids with kids, and the authority not being parental figures. It just allows them much more leeway. Yeah. So that's why it was. But it was no kind of a yen to recreate any sort of 1940s boarding school in the slightest. I know this for a fact, and I'm afraid people will just have to take my word on this, because after all, I have met thousands of the kids who've read these books. Children from virtually every walk of life would like to go to Hogwarts.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I still would.
Well, you know, it's an exciting place. It's spooky. It's mysterious. They get rid of their parents. They get to have feasts every day. It's in some ways a fantasy. It's a dark fantasy because there are things there that are frightening. Yeah. But you could have quite a nice life at Hogwarts as long as you kept your head down.
And weren't friends with
Harry Potter, who kills everything he touches.
Moved to Midsummer. Why'd you go and live there? It's a terrible idea.
Don't be friends with Harry.
Yeah, because in a way, because what I like about Harry as a character is that one of the things that sort of marks him is that so many of his relationships and so many of his most important moments in his life have been to do with death. And, you know, for instance, his relationship with Cho Chang.
He's Typhoid Mary. Everyone who enters a room with Harry is going to cark it at some point.
Exactly. I mean, you don't hang out with him.
Well, exactly. Talk about an aura of doom. Yes, and that, of course, that was quite deliberate, and he's because the prism through which I view death in all its many forms.
Wow.
Of course, yes.
As the books went on, and you realised that actually suddenly it was getting a massive adult fan base as well. Did you then realise you could gear it more towards adults in showing that kind of stuff, or were you always going to confront kids kind of with that?
No, I always.
Anyway?
Well, it's a very good question, because clearly I never went into it expecting to pick up an adult fan base the way that I did. Having said that, I had said from the very first, I said to my first editor, Barry Cunningham, I want them to grow up, and it will get darker and it will get scarier. And I think you can see that happening right up till 4. I mean, obviously, after 4, things get very scary, but I always knew they would, because Voldemort's come back, so some very nasty stuff happens. So I really went where my pen took me, and bad though it may sound to some people, I never really considered my readership in that way. I never sat down and thought, I just wrote what I wanted to write. Yeah. And things got darker and darker and darker, as you know. And
so be it.
Yeah.
So coming on to Potter, how much then did you know from the beginning? Because there's it's almost become part of the legend of Harry Potter, that you knew all of it, and that and as these things do, they get out of hand. So the last chapter went from being written to being safe with an armed guard.
Always rubbish. Always rubbish. It was nothing was ever locked away in that.
And did you fuel that at all, or?
Well, there was a degree of truth. I had very early on, but not the first day or anything, probably within the first year of writing, I wrote a sketch for what I thought the final chapter would be. So that's true. But it did change.
Okay.
Because at least one character was alive in that version of the character that subsequently I killed. So, there were a couple of people.
Can we hear who?
Lupin was supposed to make it, and of course he didn't.
No.
Yeah.
Lupin's one of my saddest ones, I have to say.
Me too.
That was pretty awful.
Me too. I hated killing them.
Yeah.
But they had to go. You've got the chip of ice in the heart of the writer, as Graham Greene says.
Well, now, here's another thing, because was there ever a chance that one of the main... Because I was convinced that one of the main 3 had to buy it, eventually.
Funnily enough, I planned from the start that none of them would die. Okay. Then, midway through, which I think is a reflection of the fact that I wasn't in a very happy place. I started thinking I might polish one of them off. Out of sheer spite. There, now you definitely can't have him anymore.
Midway through the book or midway through the series?
Midway through the series,
Right.
yeah. But I think in my absolute heart of hearts, although I did seriously consider killing Ron.
Really?
Anyway, I can tell you exactly. It's a real relief to be able to talk about it all. It's fantastic.
It must be lovely,
It's
actually.
lovely. The truth is, I always knew, and this is from really early on, that I was working towards the point where Hagrid carried Harry, alive but supposedly dead, out of the forest. Always. I knew where we were always working towards a final battle at Hogwarts. I knew that Harry would walk to his death. I planned the ghosts, for want of a better word, coming back, that they would walk with him into the forest. We would all believe he was walking to his death, and he would emerge in Hagrid's arms. So that's what always kept Hagrid safe, because Hagrid actually would have been a natural to kill in some ways, but because I always cleaved to this mental image of Hagrid being the one carrying Harry out, and that was so perfect for me, because it was Hagrid who came and took him into the world, and then Hagrid who would bring him back, and the onlookers would believe he was dead, you know, and just the physically Hagrid being so big and fatherly, and Harry being limp in his arms. So that's where we were always going.
That's amazing. It's interesting that something like that image actually kept Hagrid safe. I like that phrase. That it almost
that's
protected
exactly
him.
what Hagrid was never in danger. And as I say, Lupin, when I first created Lupin, I had no intention of killing him, and then it was sort of borne in upon me that Lupin had to die, which is awful.
Yeah, I mean that's a horrible.
I knew he had to go, and the reason he had to go was what if
Sen lo kalau grinding sejam dapat berapa batu sih? Season chart?
Sejam pakai LS nggak?
Enggak.
Biasa gue di Vogan. Batu apa dulu nih?
Time film.
Time fill sekitar 70 sampai 100. Biasa sih gue di Vogan sih yang bisa gue satu hit dong. Lame. Bonsoir. The Jardins has always been full of anger, full of ambition. In many ways, he would be the perfect host for Seth. If Seth managed to possess the Jardin's body, that would mean the Red Lord now controls the man of who is Chief Lector of the Horse. By Ross Throne, Carter, I hope you're wrong. The two of you will have to learn to use the power of the gods quickly. Whatever Seth is planning, he will do it on his birthday, when he's strongest. That's the third demon day, 3 days from now. But I've already used Isis' power, haven't I? Sadie asked. I have summoned hieroglyphs. I activated the obelisk at Luxor. Was that her or me? Both, dear, Buzz said. You and Carter have great abilities on your own. But the power of the gods has hastened your development and given you an extra reservoir to draw on. What would have taken you years to learn, you have accomplished in days. The more you channel the power of the gods, the more powerful you will become. And the more dangerous it gets, I guess. The magician told us hosting the gods can burn you out, kill you, drive you crazy. Bess fixed her eyes on me. For a second they were the eyes of a predator, ancient, powerful, dangerous. Not everyone can host a god, Carter, that's true. But you two are both blood of the pharaohs. Combine two ancient bloodlines. That's very rare, very powerful, and besides, if you think you can survive without the power of the gods, think again. Don't repeat your mother's. She stopped herself. What, mistake? What about our mother? I should have said that. Tell us, cat, Sadie said, was afraid Buzz might unsheath her knives. Instead, she leaned against the wall and stared out the rain. When your parents released me from Cleopatra's Needle, there was much more energy than they expected. Your father spoke the actual summoning spell, and the blast would have killed him instantly. But your mother threw up a shield. In that split second, I offered her my help. I offered to merge our spirits and help protect them, but she would not accept my help. She chose to trap her own reservoir, her own magic. Bass nodded sadly. When a magician commits herself to a spell, there is no turning back. If she overreaches her power, well, your mother used her last bit of energy protecting your father. To save him, she sacrificed herself. She literally burned up. That's what Zia warned us about. The rain kept pouring down. I realized I was shivering. Sadie wiped a tear from her cheek. She picked up her amulet and glared at it resentfully. We've got to save Dad. If he's really got the spirit of Otters. She didn't finish, but I knew what she was thinking. I thought about Mom when I was little. Her arm around my shoulders as we stood on the back deck of our house in LA. She had pointed out the stars to me. Polaris, Orion's Belt, Sirius. And she had smiled on me. And I felt like I was more important than any constellation in the sky. My mom had sacrificed herself to save Dad's life. She had used so much magic. She literally burned up. How could I ever be that brave? Yet I had to try to save Dad, otherwise I'd feel like Mom's sacrifice had been for nothing. And maybe if we could rescue Dad, he could set things right, even bring back our mom. Is that possible? I asked Horace, but his voice was silent. Alright, I decided, how do we stop Seth? Buzz thought for a moment, then smiled. I got the feeling that whatever she was about to suggest, I wasn't going to like it. There might be a way without completely giving yourself over to the gods. First, a book by Toph, one of the rare spell books written by the god of wisdom himself. The one I'm thinking about details a way to overcome Seth. It is the prized possession of a certain magician. All we need to do is sneak into the fortress, steal it, and leave before sunset. Well, we can still create a portal to the United States. Perfect, Sadie said. Hold up. I said, which magician, and where's the fortress? Buzz stared at me as if I were a bit slow. Why, I think we already discussed him. Desjardins? His house is right here in Paris. Once I saw Desjardins' house, I hated him even more. It was a huge mansion on the other side of the Tuileries, on the Rue des Pyramids. Pyramids Road? Sadie said, obvious much. Maybe he couldn't find a place on stupid evil magician street, I just suggested. House was spectacular. The spikes atop its wrought iron fence were gilded. Even in the winter rain, the front garden was bursting with flowers. 5 stories of white marble walls and black shuttered windows loomed before us. The whole thing topped off by a roof garden. I'd seen royal palaces smaller than this place. I pointed to the front door, which was painted bright red. Isn't red a bad color in Egypt? The color of Seth? Buzz scratched her chin. Now that you mention it, yes, it is the color of chaos and destruction. I thought black was the evil color, said he. No, dear, as usual, modern folk have it backward. Black is the color of good soil, like the soil of the Nile. You can grow food in black soil. Food is good, therefore black is good. Red is the color of desert sand. Nothing grows in the desert. Black is the color of good soil. Red is the color of desert sand. Nothing grows in the sand. Therefore, red is evil. It is strange that this garden has a red door. Well, I'm excited, said he grumbled. Let's go now. There will be guards busted and traps and alarms. You can bet the house is heavily charmed to keep out gods. Magicians can do that? I asked. I imagine a big can of pesticide labeled God away. Alas, yes. I will not be able to cross the threshold uninvited. You, however, I thought we were gods too, Sadie said. That's the beauty of it, Bass said. As host, you are still quite human. I've taken full possession of Muffin, so I'm pretty much me. Goodness. But you are still well yourselves, clear? No, I say. I just suggest you turn to birds. You can fly through the roof garden and make your way in. Plus, I like birds. First problem, I said, we don't know how to turn into birds. Easily fixed, and a good test at channeling godly power. Both Ice and Horse have bird forms. Simply imagine yourself as birds, and birds you shall become. Just like that, Sadie said. You won't pounce at us? Buzz looked offended. Buzz is a cat, man. What the fuck? Percy thought. I wish he hadn't used the word perished. Okay, I said, here goes. I thought you in there, Horace? What? He said testily. Bird form, please. Oh, I see. You don't trust me, but now you need my help. Come on, dude. Just do the falcon thing. Would you settle for the Nemu? I decided talking wasn't going to help, so I closed my eyes and imagined I was a falcon. Right away, my skin began to burn. I had trouble breathing. I opened my eyes and gasped. I was covered in feathers, and my face had turned into weak claws. Kind of like my ba form, but this was real flesh and blood. My clothes and bag were gone, as if they had melted into my feathers. My eyesight had completely changed. I could see 180 degrees around, and the details were incredible. Every leaf on every tree popped out. I spotted a cockroach 100 years away, scaring into a sewer drain. I could see every pore on boss face. No looming wolf. Oh fuck, man! It's very detailed, dude. Better late than never. Took almost 10 minutes. Beautiful grey bird of prey, a little bit smaller than me, with black tipped wings and golden eyes. I'm not sure how, but I knew it was a kite, like the bird kite, not the kind of Swedish string. Oh, you two look delicious, boss said. Ha ha ha.
Mari.
Itu gua anjing.
Hah? Enggak, lu Hitoa.
Udah capek gua.
Adinya banyak, Pin. Kang Bongo biasanya adi banyak buat nipu-nipu orang.
Ini anjing ada dia nge-PM. Ini kayak bidang mantan Mas dulu bukan? Siapa gua bilang kan. Ini teman lama masa lupa. Ya siapa anjing?
Coba situ ya siapa anjing gituin lah.
Siapa namanya? Pink?
Flame Heart.
Flame Heart.
Bukan Flame Warrior. Gua pikir awalnya Flame Warrior.
Kayak pernah denger gua.
Itu ID lo ampret, sok kedengeran.
Bukan banget.
Alah.
Siapa? Siapa Ri? Lu kan lebih lama di Marshmallow.
Kata
Flame Heart Ri.
Enggak tahu. Jin lu server apa, Jin?
Apa?
Yuna ini Flame Heart.
Lu server apa?
Gue server B1.
Itu berarti Juna, tawa tuh Juna tuh pengen ketawa.
Juna. Soalnya dia manggilnya Kevin, Dia manggilnya Kevin. Siapa lagi mau nipu gua nih? Siapa lagi mau nipu gua?
100%.
Juna yang ngaku cewek anjing.
Bukan.
Dasar hode.
Udah Juna itu Juna.
Ketahuan bohong pas bilang ini apa? Di WA Azuri ya.
Bawa Ajuri main lagi di pause kan Juna pasti.
WA cewek
ngurus bini aja belum bener.
WA cuma minta tugas doang paling.
Anak lu urus dulu tuh kasih susu.
Nah, sini nak.
Oe. Papa goblok oe.
Nggak percaya tuh udah nikah goblok.
Iya, Jur.
Kencing masih belok anjing.
Iya.
Kencing masih belok anjir. Nikah.
Tahu, kencingnya masih dipegangin anjing. Masih lo tadangin kan.
Recoilnya masih nup anjir.
Nggak bisa lurus lempeng anjing.
Jadi nggak?